Okay, the mark with the lid, it's been drying to the leather hard stage. So today I'm going to show you how I finish up trimming and attach the handle. And again, from my trimming tools, that I will use some of the shape to finish, like trim the curb side and trim the knob by using several pieces of them. I will probably use this one for regular trimming, and number 2, and number 1 for chattering on the lid, and number 3 for trimming the knob, and maybe number 5 for trimming the curve here. So I will probably use 4 of them for my trimming tools. Okay, so first I'd like to trim my knob body. Get the mark to stick on my wheel head. I have porcelain, so I don't mind to stick my mark right on the wheel head. Tap centering. Okay, it's centered. So I'll try to stick my mark on the wheel head by just using water. If you are worried about it might fly away, get a coil to anchor your mark on the wheel head. Right, so now I'm going to use the number 2 trimming tool, which is shoulder knife here, so that it doesn't cause any vibration for unwanted chattering mark. Camera a little bit closer so you will be able to see how I hold my tools. Usually I have my left hand hanging on the surface of the mug with my thumb extended. The tool is resting my left thumb, finding the support here. And cutting the right width, the roughly width of my foot. And cut a level, flatten the bottom of my foot. And using the corner of my trimming tool to make a mark so that I know this is my foot ring here, roughly, and I don't need a clay in the middle, so I could remove it. And again, you want to hold your tool firm while you're trimming, especially in the middle part. And this kind of trimming tool, it's easier to cut through your part when your part is at their hot stage. If your part is too wet, sometimes the clay stick on your tool. It's very hard to trim using this kind of tool. When your clay is wet, a little bit wetter than the hard stage. Okay, it's almost done. And on this mark, you can see there's a little curve right here. This trimming tool is kind of straight, so it's hard to reach the bottom. So I want to use the, told you the number 5. There's a curve here. So the curve is kind of fitting the curve here. So it's easier for me to trim a little curve by using this number 5 trimming tool. So if I want to make some little lines, I can use the corner and just trim some little lines on the bottom for the decoration. Is done. Just want to burnish the foot. And then put my stamp on the foot. Got my mark. Spin the wheel and kind of twist, make a bend. Can remove it from the wheel. Of course, the rim is a little bit rough, so you can use, since I have porcelain, you can use a sponge to smooth the rim without dragging any grog or the rough from the clay. That's the beauty of the porcelain. So this mark is made, is trimmed. I'm ready to trim my lid. This is the lid. I put one of my stem hiding inside of the underneath of the lid. And again, some water. Okay. Again, number 2, trimming tool to just remove the clay. For making a nice knot, when you are throwing your lid, you might want to leave enough thickness of the clay on the bottom, so you have a little bit more room to trim. So now I use number 2 trimming tool to remove most of the clay. And now I was talking about a tool with this kind of shape. Okay, there's a little curve here. I'm going to use the curve to go underneath of the knob. So when you are trimming a knob, you'll go a little bit more, a little bit here, so that it's easier for your finger to grip underneath of the knob. Okay, so that your lid doesn't slip away. So cut underneath. And the good thing for this tool is that the curve is right fit into underneath of the knob. The lid is trimmed, and now I want to get some chattering texture on this part here. So I'm holding my trimming tool nice and long, spin my wheel quite fast. Cut a nice chattering mark on the lid. To remove from the wheel head, spin the wheel and twist. So the roughness underneath, you can just use the sponge to smooth it out. So this is the lid with the chattering mark. There's a mark. I haven't had a handle yet, but with the lid, with the cover, I kind of throw it a little bit loose because I would add a glaze here, so the glaze will get a bit thicker. So a little bit loose, not exactly very tight. And after I add a handle, it will be a nice lidded mug. Okay, I'm ready to add the handle to my mug, the lidded mug. So first, I use a needle a sharp tool to score the joint on my mug. And then I'm gonna add some slip. I use the slip. Slip is clay. You add water to it, so it's like a very sticky glue. We use the slip to glue the handle to the mug. And here's the handle that I already pulled. Today it's a little bit wet, so I actually This handle was pulled about 2 hours ago, and all the shiny water is gone, so that it's easier for me to handle, to try to attach it. Because if you pull the handle right away and you try to attach it, it's too slippery. So I usually let my handle sit, depending on the weather, from 1 hour to 3 hours. As long as the shiny water has gone, that's the right stage to attach the handle. And while I'm waiting my handle to dry, actually I use a plastic bag to cover my mug to keep the moisture. So after I cut a little of a curve on my handle. Again, I wanna score it so the joint is a little bit rough. And actually, I usually like to use my fingernail to kind of tap it so that the clay open up a little bit. It opened up. And again, adding the slip to my handle. And I'm ready to joint. So when you joint, make sure you have a little bit support on the back of the mug, and then you squeeze it. You want to apply a little bit pressure. Squeeze it. So I attach the top portion of my handle. After I attach it, I usually don't want to touch it. I might want to wait like 5 minutes, so that because this mug is a little bit drier than the handle, so I want the mug, the body, to draw some water from the handle. So that's why I usually, after I attach the top part of my mug, I let it sit for a couple minutes before I attach the bottom. Usually I don't just make one mug at a time. I make a whole bunch of mugs, so I attach every single one of the top portion. After I've done the last one, it's about 5 minutes, so I can go back to the first one and try to get it a nice and better finish. Especially the top portion here, you want to smooth it, and also you want to attach the bottom portion. So I will let it sit for 5 minutes, and then I will start to attach the bottom portion. Okay, this is what I was talking about, adding the top portion of the handle and let them sit here for a couple minutes, and later on you attach the bottom portion. So my first one already been 5 minutes, so I'm ready to attach the bottom portion and also finish up the top portion. So I usually use a needle tool to kind of spread the roughness, a little bit of roughness on the joint. I use the needle tool to and I spread it. Also, you blend the clay together. That way, it will be stronger. The joint will be stronger. Okay, and after I smooth it. You can use a brush to kind of brush the joint. Brush a little bit. Just use water. Okay, so that's the top portion that has been joined and smooth. And now I'm ready to add the joint bottom. So you see that this is the I have a longer handle so that I can choose the portion I wanted to and cut the excess off. So again, before I joint, I usually like to scroll the joint and then add a little bit of slip right by the joint. Okay, and choose the right size I wanted. Usually I will like to have at least 2 fingers go through the handle. At least 2 fingers. One is a little bit too small, so 2 fingers can go in and hold it easily. That's my ideal size of the handle. Alright, so make sure that is straight and cut the extra clay off. And then I'm lightly compressed here. Before I compress firmly, I usually would like to get a drip of water right by the joint. Okay, a drip of water. Just use a brush and drip of water there. So water will go through the whole joint. And then I'm having my finger hold it underneath, inside, where the joint is going to be, to support it, because sometimes this might be a little bit too thin, so with the finger to support it on the inside. And then just use your finger to compress. And you can compress harder. You can add a little bit of water and then compress a little bit harder. So it's joined, and you can readjust the curve of your handle. If you don't like it, you can kind of bend it and readjust it. And if you follow my way, 99% that you won't have a crack here, because you wait a little bit longer, like 5 minutes at least. And that way, even I saw people, I saw some people use a wax to protect here. I never used the wax, and I never have anything that fallen off my joint. This part, I didn't even have any crack. So that's the trick, that you might want to wait 5 more minutes before you smooth that joint, because the 5 minutes help the body draw some water out from your handle, so that when the joint is ready, both the handle and then the body is more even. When you join 2 pieces of clay together, the wetness is even, they will not break up. If you have one side drier and the other side is softer, it's easy to fall apart, because the wetter side is going to dry and then shrink, so it fall apart from the soft side, the wet side. Okay, so this is the lidded mug, right?